If I just hit record, you'll stop saying dumb shit.
Is that true?
Are we ready to? All right, Kobe. Are we getting in this chopper together, or like?
You gotta stop that recording.
No,
so that I can,
no. Because what Sumei's gonna do is he's gonna put the just our regular logo over this, and then eventually it'll come in with the video once we start playing. But you gotta click record.
Is that really how it's gonna work?
That's what I'm gonna tell him to do. I hope he does it.
Okay.
Oh, we need to do that thing.
I'm gonna start it at 30
We
seconds.
do need to record with Sumei. You're gonna start at 30. Okay, start.
I'm Sir Flowbojan Thunderhammer.
And I'm Teflon Frosthammer.
And I'm Cabbage Tidehammer.
And this
is WAK.
The Full House.
If Amtgard Knighthood means anything, you can't knife a motherfucker and keep it.
And the thing that people need to understand essentially about arts and sciences events is that your scores don't matter.
Do you want a black phoenix or a white phoenix?
You know what?
Jeez, language, man. We're on a
right.
freaking podcast, for fuck's sake.
Who's doing the intro?
Mind-blowing experience, right?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to WAK, where we discuss topics important to the Amtgard. No, you got to keep on going. At large, and talk with interesting people from around the foam-fighting world.
And today
From
on
around
WAK,
the
we have
foam-fighting world.
these three idiots.
Yeah, we don't have anything interesting. This is our episode 100, so we are kind of just going to recap the show and shoot the shit from it. Take a fucking day off, you guys.
Yeah, so
I
I actually
took a bunch of those lately.
Let's fucking walk one, you know?
Dude, I actually thought that this was kind of a cool idea. Just going back over our first 100 episodes and what we liked and didn't like.
Yeah, because the best TV shows are always montage episodes.
I think so too. Volleyball montages all the way around.
Oh, like
What you guys do with your time. But yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of fun doing this. We've learned a lot. The format of the show's changed like 12 times as we got a little bit better at it.
Listen, we've tried a lot of experiments that failed too, but like, you know, we're here on episode 100.
Did I say it weird?
I mean, no, not
Was
really.
it, you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet or something like that?
I don't know. I saw this thing on TikTok where you can just spin an egg like crazy and then make like essentially an omelet in the shell, and that seemed upsetting.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I don't know that I like that.
Yeah, it was pretty upsetting.
You
to
capping
watch.
over there?
No, like they you know, it was like a boiled egg, but then they cracked it open and it was just yellow. I was like, I don't know if I fuck with this. Dude, god damn it, we are really walking one. For Christmas, like a couple years ago, somebody got me that thing, like as seen on TV, Rolly egg tube maker. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, vaguely.
No, I have no idea.
It's like a little fleshlight you sit on your counter, and then you crack an egg into it and push a button, and then it like shits out a tube egg. And
that's not a real thing.
It's called the Rolly, just in case you're curious. It's a thing. And I got one. It was the most terrible thing I've ever experienced. Hey, real quick, I know in the previous episodes I said I was going to do this. I was going to get drunk on this show. I'm not gonna do that, you guys. I've been on these meds for 2 weeks that are supposed to make me stop vaping. Didn't work, by the way.
It did everything else though. It made you
the
feel
side effect for this medication was effectively that I have felt hungover for the past 2 weeks. So I'm afraid of being hungover ever again in my life. I don't know if I'm going to stop vaping.
Are you sure you were on the vape one or on the alcohol one?
Bro, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Like legitimately, like I burned through all my sick days, y'all. Like I got no more at work. That's why I literally had to drop out of the study because I'm like, I can't miss another day of work.
Yeah.
So not going to drink on this one, but I'll bring my general stupidity to it. You'll think it's the same.
Yeah, it looks oddly the same.
Ah, great.
I left the mouse in shot again.
Did you really?
What's wrong with
Consummate
that?
professionals.
Yeah, I mean, you got your,
Bro, we're taking a lap here.
thing
It's
too,
fine. Yeah, leave the mouse.
Yeah, there we covered
Let's
it up.
show
It's
the
good now.
ugly dark side of our podcast. Like the fact that our
just the
camera
rest
is
of the
never in the same
garage that
place
we-
twice.
The rest of the garage that we putt in.
Yeah, okay, look. Our special putting green aside. So let's talk about, starting the podcast was probably our worst idea. Do we want to talk about how we got to that, Flo?
You want to know what? I don't remember why we started.
Oh, I keenly remember why we started.
I generally know. Like, I know that we started it. The pandemic had started, and the thought was, I have a lot of people in my phone that don't want to talk to me.
Mm-hmm. And I can force them to engage.
From different Amtgard kingdoms around the world because they made the mistake of picking us up from an airport when I was 18 or something like that.
Yep.
And our kingdom, the Kingdom of Winter's Edge, is new. We were much newer then, and introducing them to different perspectives and different people around the game was something that we thought would be really cool. That was kind of where I was at. I'm sure that we had like grander plans for it too, or stupider plans probably.
Yeah, so I don't know how far you want to go back. At some point, Yeah, right. Well, when I was born. No, like, so I guess about a year before the pandemic started, so this is 2018
Yep.
or so, I had asked you about a belt, and you had agreed to belt me, great to your great misfortune and eternal regret. And the reason I had done that was because I had wanted to run for Monarch, and I kind of wanted, to have somebody in my corner who, kind of knew this shit, and I could, bounce ideas off of.
Flo's never held Monarch.
Yeah, I know. But he had a crown belt.
He didn't know that at the time, though.
Yeah.
He found that out after.
In my defense, this entire conversation where I asked and Flo agreed happened at a bar.
It
So-
did.
Caught him with the
We actually, in one of our early episodes, was when you learned that I had never run for office.
caught
And
him
we-
with the fine print, did you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, the large print giveth, the small print taketh away. So I get this belt. I run for Monarch. I become Monarch because I'm awesome. Nope. And almost immediately, becoming Monarch. Like, I think the week before being Monarch, Teflon was essentially, forced
pro
into the
temp.
role. Yeah,
Yeah.
pro temp Monarch, and COVID was a thing. And so I get to step into the saddle, and I go, oh, fuck, we're about to have to shut Amthgard down for the foreseeable future. What can I do to still, like, and Flo and I have always talked, again, at the bar every time we would go, we talk about, like, oh, we should turn that into a podcast, like white dudes do. We're like, that's a funny thing. Record that. People would listen to it. Apparently they will. So when all of those things combined together, I said, bro, we've been talking about doing a podcast forever. I kind of want to put Amthgard in people's ears while Amthgard's not a thing. Let's just do the podcast. We've got literally nothing else going on. It's an excuse to hang out. We're all bored. Let's do it. And then we started the show. And we may have talked about this before, but did you know that we recorded 4 first episodes before we released our first episode?
I don't think I knew that. I knew that
Yeah.
Jay said that just fucking release it,
Yeah.
basically. But
Yeah, Jay Subway was part of our test audience
Yeah.
to begin with, and we did. We recorded 4 first episodes. That entire thing. If you ever want to, if you ever go back and listen to the first episode, it is horribly scripted. Like, we had lined up talking
Yeah.
points and everything because we'd done it 3 times.
Yeah, and they weren't good the first 3 times, so we figured, well, we'll give ourselves a script and it'll be better. It was not. Funny, the first episode, so we recorded 4 first episodes with 3 different pieces of recording equipment because we could not find the one that did what we wanted it to.
Yeah.
And we've changed since then a few times, but we got more picky about what we wanted. So we recorded our first couple, so the real first episode that released, we recorded on the H6, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point we upgraded to the PodTrack P4, and then now we have the P8, and there's been some other stuff in between. But that first episode we recorded in your kitchen, like at your kitchen table. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and then I think that was our first, and then we did the one with Kazan, which, God, I'd like to redo. We kind of did redo it. We had Kazan and Kate on, but, like, I want to give Kazan another shake because, again, we were still very scripted and on the old format. But, yeah, those first couple of episodes almost didn't happen because we recorded 4 times. Jay said, just fucking release it, and I said, screw it, and I just did it one day, and, like, now we're stuck here.
Yeah.
How many episodes did we go before we actually told Teflon we were doing a podcast and that he should be on it?
I think that it was within the first 6 because he was. I think he was
Yeah.
episode 4 through 6 that we had you on the first time. I think
so it was. Was it
I'm gonna look it
Munch's
up now.
episode? I think that was the first time that I truly showed up. I think because like Alexis and I were here because we had all hung out and like went to eat or something, and then or was going to do something after.
And that was the last episode of the podcast Lexi ever listened to.
Yeah, right. And then so you had the peanut gallery in the background with me
Yeah.
and Alexis, and like making Bunch laugh, or who I think it was Bunch anyway.
Probably.
And then like Bunch was misremembering a story, so I came and hopped on. I was like, no, this is what happened.
Yeah. The funniest part about that is Flo and I, we started the podcast and we said, yeah, we've got a Beltline podcast. Let's do episodes. And then at some point, Flo messaged me and went, hey, did we purposefully exclude Jeff from the show? And I went, oh my God, Jeff, no, get him over here. It's like,
so I was looking back through here. So we had you were over here, and then we were planning on filming the first Michael Hammer of God episode.
yeah.
Right after that,
Is that episode 14?
13,
Okay. Yeah, that's close.
and because the first Hammer time was right before that.
Yeah, okay.
And we wanted you to be there for it. And then when we got everything set up, we were in my bedroom at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, man, when is Jeff going to get here? And Lucas turned and was like, you called and asked him, right? I'm like, oh, we're just deeply stupid.
I forgot about that.
Because, dude, I called Jeff afterwards. I was like, hey, man, we did a recording. You were actually supposed to be here, but no one told you that we were.
Yeah, in all honesty, we meant for this to be like 10 episodes and done, but then people kept coming on the show, which is y'all's fault, by the way.
Dude, we found a lot of really, really cool people to come on the show.
Dude.
We ended up doing the belt months, which was...
Man, that was really fun. Man, it was a slog after a certain point, but man, were they fun.
It was. We got a lot of really good conversations from that, I think.
You know, like, I've said this 100 times, but there's still, like, some of my favorite episodes are the ones that have the least listenership.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'll say it till the sun goes out, but the Saint O'Banion episode, Promethea.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, those are amazing episodes, and, like, it's not that they're not interesting. They just don't have, I guess as much recognition or whatever, but those are great episodes. They're some of our favorites, I think.
Man, if you're into, like, quest writing or something like that, go listen to the Promethea episode.
Yeah, she made her entire park fall in love with an avocado, an egg?
Something like that. I can't
whatever.
remember. Yeah. Kiwi?
It might have been a kiwi.
Yeah, it was kiwi.
Yeah, okay.
Michael, episode 13 is still our highest viewed episode ever.
No shit. Like, that was a great episode.
Well, that's on YouTube, yeah? Or
Yeah, on YouTube. That's a good point. Our viewership's weird if you just look at YouTube because we have so much that's off and on Spotify or other platforms or something like that.
Yeah, like our listenership is larger across other platforms, but we can never tell how much of that bleeds across. Like, if people listen on YouTube and then listen on Spotify, that's one listener, but we get it reported as two because it's two separate platforms. It's a pain. The back end of doing any podcast is just fucking
Weird.
tea leaves.
Yeah. But, yeah, we got to talk to a lot of interesting people, and, I remember early on us talking about, like, well, we'll go ahead and move to this point, and then we'll be done, and we'll be able to say I've accomplished something, and I'm proud of the work that I did, and then more stuff came on, and more stuff came on, and I just kept growing. We kept on finding new and interesting people to come on the show. We started talking to people from other games because at some point we realized that would be fun to, everybody's cross gaming.
Yeah.
Or at least knows about cross gaming, and that would be a fun thing to showcase.
It's not as taboo as it used to be, I think.
Yeah, dude, It was legit super bad. There was a time period where I was in Nashville, or roughly Nashville, going to school, and this was the time period where the DAG boards didn't allow any kind of talk of other games. And someone had posted something about Knoxville, like, I moved near Knoxville, I'm looking to start a park, blah, blah, and I had posted on there, hey, like, there's not any DAG in Knoxville Oak Ridge area, but there are guys playing on this day at other stuff that you could probably pull to cross game. And then my post got deleted because I mentioned other games.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that stigma's kind of gone, and so we get to talk about other games, and also, like, I don't know, it's been cool because we get a lot of viewpoints that I think are new as well. Some I don't agree with, some that I do, but, like, it's cool just to see what the wider, fighting world thinks about stuff, and I guess what the wider Amthgard world thinks about stuff.
Well, you have someone like Telfair on, and you really get to see what, like, the everyday dude that's playing Dag Bell is doing with their weekends. And it turns out it's pretty much the same thing that Amthgard is doing, right? Telfair actually comes and comes to Knoxville quite often and will visit us and hang out.
I've known him forever.
Yeah. But
are you talking about Ice?
Yeah.
I'm bad with names. Yeah, okay. I'm on the same page now.
But I mean, that was a super fun episode to do, along with Bell and any of the other people from other games that we've talked to, because I knew a whole lot about Amthgard and a lot of people in Amthgard. I didn't know as much about these other games. I have, depending on the guests that we were having on, as well as all of the other guys, ask very prompted questions that we might know the answer to, but that newer players may not. But I genuinely was curious. Any of the questions that I asked there were questions that I legit didn't know the answer to and was learning as all of you were.
Well, once the format changed.
Yeah, once the format changed. We did used to have scripted questions when we started.
Well, yeah, we thought, like, I guess we can talk about stuff we tried that didn't work, right? If anybody wants to start a podcast, don't do some of these things.
Yeah. Don't do scripted questions.
Yeah, it's really hard to have an organic conversation that way, and then also you'll burn through your questions so goddamn fast that you end up having to make stuff up at the end anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like, Teflon's a big...
I think Kodiak's actually a good thing for that. Like, he has like a few introductory questions to kind of like start it, and then it's conversation after that. So I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's just realize that you can't do the whole thing that way.
Yeah. Teflon's a really big fan of doing like a topic. So like if we were going to, an example might be if we were going to do an episode on disc golf, then we might talk about.
Are we finally going to do that?
Then we might have like, hey, by the time it ends, well, we want to cover these 3 things in some format, but super, super light like that. Yeah, if any of you ever have the desire to brave what we did and no one else has ever done and start a podcast, go less scripted. Like it could be that whatever format you choose needs more scripting, but always start lighter and then kind of lean into it later.
I actually did during the pandemic, like there was a lot of online teaching stuff, and I did a whole thing on like podcasting and how you can get started with that. I didn't cover all of the pitfalls, but like some of that's included in there. Also, just go ahead and admit right now you're not going to wear garb every episode.
Oh yeah, Teflon kept garb here forever.
It's still there.
And no, it's gone now.
No, I
What's
think
that
I got
blue
it.
thing? Is that not it?
No, that's a towel.
Oh, god damn it.
Do you need another towel?
He kept garb here forever, and we just, this is my home, and I still wouldn't go put on garb.
Dude, I think we have, like, except for your bathroom, we have tried to record everywhere in your house.
Do you want to record in the bathroom?
All right, we're moving. Let's go.
Okay, Jeff has the long mic cable, so why doesn't he go scout it out first? We'll see how the audio is, and then we can figure it out. Yeah, like...
If he goes into that house alone, the cat's attacking him.
That's fair.
Flo's shower's pretty nice.
It is.
Yeah, we could record in the shower. It's very nice.
It sounds like the old sound test
Yeah.
that you would do that's super echoey. It sounds exactly like that. It's
Yeah.
like a tile.
Also, don't assume that if you make a podcast and you want to get to 100 episodes, you're not going to have hair at the end of it.
Flo has a wig, just so
Yeah.
everyone's clear.
It's been a wig
It's
for the
on-
last 50 episodes.
It's actually on my face.
The last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's not a beard. It's a wig.
Oh my god. So wait, hold on. So I'm trying to think. Part of me wants to like chronicle the history of us doing this dumb shit. Cause
Yeah, let's do it.
No, I don't. I can't. I'm racking my brain right now trying to figure out when we change formats. Cause like if I could tell people what episode to start listening, it would be whenever we change to the like more organic conversation format, and I don't know what episode that is.
It was when it's when it dropped down from 2 hours to 1 hour. It was right around there.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the 2 hour, like we started and we're like, we'll do a 2 hour show, a 2 hour format. I don't even remember why we said we were going to do 2 hours. It was
stupid.
an arbitrary number.
Yeah.
And what we learned was that we can get everything that needs to be said done, usually in an hour. But the lesson to take away from this is don't be too attached to anything. You're probably going to be wrong about a lot of stuff. And ultimately, just like Lucas said earlier, we have some episodes that we absolutely love that you all didn't. Doesn't make us wrong or you wrong, right? But the audience is gonna latch on to whatever they like, right? So you are somewhat playing towards the audience that gravitates to the material that you're putting out, right? I don't feel like any of us have ever been fake or not represented ourselves just as ourselves. We're all like goofy fucks, but
I would agree with that, but we have very purposefully, I think, and intentionally strayed away from like really controversial topics. Really like, discussing bands. Like when Grand Duke Fogg did that video about his, I guess, band. I don't know how that whole situation
Yeah, I
worked
know.
out. Like there were several of us and like I think that thought it, and certainly I said it, but I was like, we could do like, grill the guest type of questions. Like that could be a cool show to do where we really just dig into shit. But how long can we do that for? And how long do we want to be the assholes that are like, well, you said, and you're a dick because, like,
yeah, I remember
who would want to come on,
Lucas saying really early on, like, the three of us were sitting on my couch, and we were talking about whatever we wanted to do for that. This is when we still planned out Hammer Times. Man, do you remember that?
No.
I don't either. But I remember you saying, I don't care what we do with the show, but I really want to stick to the same mantra that Adam and Jamie on Mythbusters used. Whenever, at any point while we're doing this, I want to be able to stop and say I'm proud of what we've done, and I'm also proud of what we chose not to do.
Yeah.
And I am proud of the work that we have put into this, and I'm also proud of the topics that we have just chosen not to tackle.
Man, it'd be fun though. Let me just devil's advocate here. It would be kind of fun.
See, I don't know that it would, man.
Yeah, you're right.
might be fun in the moment, but not really.
Yeah, the
after
heat
fact.
afterwards wouldn't be worth it.
You can go to any other video you want on YouTube and listen to people shitting on each other and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that brand of humor. But
Well, also, we decided fairly early on that we wanted this to be a pretty decent resource for new players as well, just to, I mean, one, experience the game and kind of get some advice that might be useful, but, you know, if the podcast, when they tune in, is like, and this guy's a dick because blah, then they're going to go, hey, that game seems like trouble. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I don't want
wanna...
to play Amtgard.
Yeah.
Why would I?
Yeah.
This
So-
is the same thing that if any of the kingdom officers or monarchy are still listening to this, if you allow people to just shitpost on your main kingdom pages, don't. Just like lock that down or don't allow that. You can have them shitpost somewhere else if you want. I don't care. We actually have a whole separate kingdom thing for shitposting only. But like this is where your new players go to. And if this is my first day here, I don't really want to listen to someone saying this dude at this other park, you know.
Yeah, I still think that Kingdom should be a Kingdom, was it Facebook page, where only announcements and stuff are done, and that's the only official part of it.
Similar to what
AI
AI did.
And then you have a discussion thing that's a quote-unquote unofficial thing that, like, the monarchy doesn't deal with, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, because, like, you know, if Joe Newbie shows up and is like, oh, this looks cool, what's it about? And then there's a post from Flo that's like, I got fingered last week by so-and-so. It's like, well, shit, do I want to go?
Yeah.
The answer to that's no.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. People are into shit. It's not a...
Depends on the context.
It's not a direct no, but for some people it probably is, you know?
But yeah, so we decided to switch formats, and that was totally, or this is us getting back on track, kind of. We decided to switch formats, and it was really we had done this for a while and realized that the old format wasn't working, and we knew that we wanted to keep doing it, so we switched down to an hour, and we started getting a lot more productive conversation. Not as much filler.
I feel like one of them was like, hey, did we give so-and-so questions? No? Let's just go.
Yep.
I think
that seriously might have been
we'll
how
do it live.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter.
That seriously might have been
and
how
then
it started.
it was way better.
Yeah.
Way better that way.
You know, I'm also kind of like, God, how do you say this without sounding dark? I'm kind of happy that we've gotten to record with some people. God damn, there's not a good way to say this.
No, there's not a good way.
To record with some people while they're still alive. Like, and my direct example of this is going to be Bunch.
Yeah.
Like,
sadly, he didn't get the
video
open
treatment.
format.
Yeah.
And the video, yeah.
Yeah, he was on the old format. I still think it was a good...
No, I think his was better because we knew that you guys knew him.
Yeah.
And I was in the background giggling.
Giving him shit, yeah.
It was easier to talk to because you already knew him.
Yeah, but like, you know, Bunch sadly passed, and we have this at least this small piece of him where we can say this was who this guy was, you know, and I think I covered this on a previous episode. It's not like I'm sitting here going like, I can't wait for these guests to die, but like, it's a thing. It is a part of them and their legacy that, like, you know, somebody can say, well, this was that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for that, I'm like eternally grateful that we got Bunch. You know, there are plenty of people I wish we could have gotten as well, but at least we've gotten who we've gotten. Yeah,
absolutely. I remember like a week after he had passed, I think that we chose not to release an episode that Friday.
Yeah. We did. We just reposted the
We just
reposted
his episode.
I also, like, again, you know, I was in pretty close contact with his mom in the immediate aftermath, and you know, she was like, "Oh, I miss him so much," and I said, this might be really fucking weird, but would you like to hear his voice? And she said, "Oh my God, yes." And I said, "Here you go." And I sent it to her, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. Like, that's him." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's the guy." And she's like she still messages me every couple of months, and she's like, "I listened to that episode again just to hear his voice." And I'm like, "Oh, fucking shit, great. I wasn't planning on crying today, but
yeah,
you know,
no joke. Oh man,
I got a lunch break coming right up, so."
I got hit by his one and only TikTok, like, I don't know, 3 months after, and I was like, oh God, I'm gonna go cry in my basement now.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
I'm a big strong boy.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, obviously not the point of doing the podcast, but as a fringe benefit, I guess.
Yeah, like a random byproduct.
Yeah.
I mean, here's another example though that's not quite as sad. Delos had a long and very storied career.
To be very clear for anyone listening, Delos is still alive.
Yeah,
as
Delos
of
is
the recording
still
of this
alive
episode.
right now. I think.
No. He is alive. He posted on Facebook this morning. He's alive. Say what you're going to say.
But yeah, he had a long and very storied career. He was a teacher for, I'm going to say 2 decades plus. I don't know the exact amount. Delos, if you are listening, comment below and
Not
let
a
us know
chance.
how long you were there. But and then him and Arthon retired recently. I think that on the show we had wished them all the best when they announced their retirement. But we got to talk to. I forgot that the air conditioner was on.
Yeah, it'll just get it edited out, so it's fine.
Thank you. But we got to talk to Delos before he left when we were on our Sword Belt month. We got to.
Still mad we didn't get to talk to Arthon though.
Arthon doesn't exist.
Yeah.
He wouldn't return my call. But we got to talk to him. We got to hear his opinion on some stuff. You know, Delos has an enormous collection of videos on YouTube from the dojo and other stuff that he had worked on.
Yep.
But if somebody wants to get, you know, his thoughts on the belt and his perspective, I not so humbly say that hadn't really been put out before we did that, and I think he has a really cool perspective.
Mhm.
You know, he never wanted to be the Billy Badass that was the best guy. He wanted to be good. He had that competitive drive
Yeah.
to be good, but he wanted to teach. That's what he got his belt for, and he did it.
Yeah.
He did what he said. He said what he meant. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a super sad thing. Sometimes people can just retire. You know, I hope that Mikey is around forever, but he's also getting up there in age, and maybe he retires. Maybe, you know, he's in for another 3 or 4 years, and he says, "I've had all of my fun. I love all of you guys, but you know, I've done it for 30 years now, and I'm going to retire too." We have, you know, a couple of episodes that Michael Hammer of God has been on.
God, Amthgard International needs to buy a fucking rafter so we can hoist his fucking tunic up to it when he retires. Jesus, dude. Like, honestly, the conversation feels like sacrilege. Like, it's like the British thing, you should never envision the death of the king or whatever. Like, don't even. I don't like it.
But yeah, I mean, we have to face the fact that we have a lot of the older legends in our game are reaching that age where they're aging out. And I'm very proud that we were able to talk to some portion of them before they decided to retire.
Yeah, are you working up for your retirement speech? Is that what's going on here?
No, dude, I've got at least another 10 years. I can't retire at 40 when or 41, however old I am now. That when Delos and Arthon and all of them went way past that.
Act as if he doesn't have a retirement speech already planned, and it's just that Tenacious D song about Dio retiring, reworked for his own name.
100%, that's it.
So what's changed in the? I mean, yes, the format's changed, the podcast changed, the process got better over time. But like, what's changed with us? Flo, you've gotten. Are you at your Master Rose yet? Or your
No.
ninth? What are you at? Your 10th? Your 9th?
What does that say right there?
I don't know.
That one's
way small.
a 7? Maybe it's an 8. I don't remember.
No, it's
No
not
way. He's at a 9th, isn't he?
Yeah, that's a 9th.
Oh, it is 9th.
Today on the
Yes.
podcast, we discover Teflon needs glasses.
I
no,
can't read it from
so
here, really.
that is in like a weird cursive that's really hard to read. But yeah,
It's not cursive. It's just small.
it's kind of cursive.
It's Gothic text. Oh, my dear sweet Lord.
I don't know anything about text. Is that
I'm a font pervert.
is that Comic Sans?
Damn, you got to the joke before me.
Fit to get hit. Well, I guess what I was getting at
I
is
thought
like
you
we've-
muted us.
No, I should though. I'll just mute myself. No, because that's the button I touched. I mean, I was talking about like I guess we've all progressed in the game a pretty decent amount since we started this. I got a master fucking crown. I think I'm on my 8th or 7th rose. Specifically, the roses were for the podcast, which I
Yeah.
never envisioned when we started this. And I know Teflon, you've gotten a few roses for the podcast. Flo, you have as well.
Yeah.
Or Smiths, maybe whatever the
Smiths, I
fuck
think.
they are.
Smiths
Yeah.
are what we've
Yeah.
gotten.
Whatever, they make the same color belt, so it's like, you know, they're the same thing. But like, you know, in-game growth, I guess, is kind of where I was headed with that question, because like we've gotten rewarded for the podcast, but also like Teflon, you're on your 4th term as Monarch or something.
2nd term, and then 3rd if you count Prince, and then
Yeah.
I had like a 3 out of 6 month pro tem thing for it.
Yeah, so ostensibly, like when you step down, you should be getting a masterhood as well.
Whatever.
Okay, everyone listening, no, shut up. I'm gonna mute. Everyone listening right now, I did mute them. They can't say shit. If you're watching this on YouTube, they're trying their damnedest. Everyone listening to this, Teflon has served at least 3 terms as monarch, and you should all go to the Winner's Edge recommendation form and recommend him for a masterhood.
It's like an ASMR
Because
thing.
I got my masterhood after 2 terms as monarch. That weren't even that hard, you guys. I mean, they sucked, but they weren't that hard. So if you could kindly go to that recommendation form and just spam the dog shit out of it, I think that would be hilarious. All right, I'm going to let these guys back in the room.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
guys.
speaking of spamming it like that, I may have engaged with Hogman on his post that was recent on the Boffers and Blasphemy thing.
That's pretty funny.
About the ad for, I think it's Cassius tunics or something.
Cassius
like that.
Apparel.
Cassius Apparel, that's it, yeah. Which, by the way, that tunic looked pretty cool.
It did.
And he's doing the drinking the wine thing, and it says something about being stuck at 7 lions or something like that. So I engaged with it, and there may or may not be stuff that comes through. We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so in the time that we have been with you guys, I had just now gotten my belt when it started. Lucas, you have gotten your masterhood and have gone through a vote for the circle. Jeff, you've been in office too long to know now.
I can't give myself awards.
Yeah.
Sure you can. Who's stopping you? You?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
True.
And next up, I'd like to call, me before the court. Wow, I'm getting knighted.
Oh, look,
sword,
I got
shoulder,
a puppet.
shoulder.
It's
Yeah.
me.
But-
Blah blah blah.
You know,
Yeah.
we talked about this maybe a couple months back, that like the idea of working towards a belt for this hadn't even occurred to us when this started. It was something that was kind of one part a fun thing to do with some of our friends, because we had a lot of local people, and like
Yeah.
I said earlier, kind of going through my Rolodex to call some people that I hadn't talked to in a long time. But we have seen a lot of growth, and I think even more. I think even cooler than that, though. I'm really proud of both of you, though I'll never tell anyone else that.
Yeah, no.
The internet won't know.
Yep.
Right.
A lot of the people that we've had the privilege of interviewing over the course of the couple of years that we've been doing this have also seen quite a bit of growth and have gotten a lot closer to their belts. I remember Oz was one of the first people that we ever interviewed, and he's really far up there now. Did Bunch have all of his awards at the time that we interviewed
Bunch
him?
had 2 masterhoods before he passed.
I know that, but when we interviewed him the first time, did he already have those
Yes.
masterhoods?
I think so.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Then he doesn't count.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of other people, too, that have, over the course of the pandemic, done quite a bit and seen quite a bit of growth, gotten towards their belts as well. Not just in our kingdom, but in a lot of other kingdoms. And it's been really cool to talk to those people. And some parts of me want to check back in and see how they've been doing.
Kodiak's probably one of the more
Oh yeah, he's
easy to check in
really
kind of thing,
close to his, or
He should be getting it soon, I think.
I think so, yeah.
oh cool.
I mean, hell,
Kodiak,
Warlord
do you-
Gun went to Sir Gun from the time we talked
That's a
to
good
between
point.
Then,
Yep.
So that
That's a
happened.
good point.
I mean, a lot of stuff.
Bell got his warlord
Bell got his Warlord.
after I think we interviewed him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Can we talk about that on the podcast?
Yeah.
At the next Winner's Edge event, we're knighting Bell?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a thing.
At the October one.
Yeah, so basically, if you come on the show, you'll probably get knighted or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
The AC's back on. Here's the other reason I want Teflon to get his crown belt. It's very selfish. But you all need to recommend him for his crown belt, because there's a running joke that we talk about when we're not on the podcast, and that's that if we keep getting Smiths for doing this podcast, we will at some point be eligible for knighthood. And I don't know if you guys want this or not, but I don't want a singular belt. I want all of us to share one big belt. And if it's going to be somebody's first belt, then that's not cool. But if it's a second belt, it's awesome.
Yeah, if it's a second belt for all of us, we were actually going to get a belt made that went around all 3 of us and
Yeah.
just do a triple knighting.
Yeah, and like a Be Nice shirt where we all have to wear the same shirt, and like in unison.
I'm with stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
God.
a circular arrow.
I was gonna say we all have to say 1/3 of every sentence, like we just going around. But hey, y'all, that's fucking hard.
It's not too
No,
bad.
fuck you. Do you remember? Okay, so in our intro where it's like I'm blah, 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 I'm blah, 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 and I'm blah, 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 and that is WAK. Do you remember how many attempts that took us to get right?
I remember us all 3 with our heads down on the desk going, why can't we do this?
Weeping.
I think it was 5.
Dude, no, it took us like 30 minutes because I still have the original recording. Fuck, we should release that. It's hilarious. I need to find that because I still have that original recording because we just kept it rolling. I was like, when we get the right take, like we'll
clip it and go.
Yeah, I'll end the recording and grab the last take. And there are so many, and it like all we had to do was go, this is WAK, and my God, we could not string it together, dude.
No.
I don't think
I forgot my name. I think a couple times.
You did.
Yeah. Like
this is. Dude, you had one job.
Yeah, he'd be like, "I'm Cabbage." Nope, no, you're not. You're Teflon. Try again. Start it over. And I mean, it's just us weeping for like 30 minutes because we cannot get our shit together. Disgustingly professional, as we've been called.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, but like we all share the big shirt. We all talking around, or at least try our goddamn best, and we wear the one big belt. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So go recommend fucking masterhood. It's dumb if he doesn't get it.
He's Monarch right now, so if you recommend him, he's just going to send you back an email that says, "Thanks, bud."
Yeah, appreciate it. No, do the thing I did when I was Monarch. All the awards that I couldn't give out, like I was really picky about not wanting to give too many awards to our local park. Not because they didn't deserve it, but because I didn't want to be like showing favoritism or whatever.
Yeah.
So I took all of those and just put them in a separate document. And when Clover came in as Monarch, I was like, "Hey, bud, here's all the stuff I didn't feel comfortable giving out. So if Teflon could just have 95 fucking like give him his damn masterhood already, and whoever comes in has to look at those, like that's pretty good."
I didn't do that. I have like stuff to recommend after the fact, but
Yeah, it's fair.
Hey, we're actually in the middle. Winter's Edge is in the middle of a election cycle right now, aren't
Are we really?
I
mean, I'm not.
People are making declarations, but it's not like.
Oh, we're still in declarations.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say somebody's got to replace me as senator. I think. What if nobody replaces? I don't want to do it anymore.
You served your time.
I guess it'll have to be pro temp, just like we do GMR and stuff.
Yeah, the only reason I ran for senator was because of that budgeting proposal, and once that got passed, I was like, "Cool, I've made my mark. I'm done."
Yeah.
Like that was my big thing, and that's the only reason because it started when I was Monarch in like that first term, and I just wanted to get the thing done.
Yeah,
because
you
I
did
had
your
started
years
it.
Monarch. You got out, and your thing hadn't been done yet,
Yeah,
so you
so
did
I don't-
one term as senator.
Not that senator's bad. It's not even that hard. I just don't want to do it. That's the thing I cared about. I got it done. I'm outie.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No,
You
not at
accomplished
all.
what you set out to do, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or saw it through to the end. I mean, sometimes those things don't get accomplished,
Yeah,
but
sure.
you
Yeah.
at least saw it to the end.
Yeah, I brought the chopper down.
That's bad.
Yeah, if you're Kobe.
Oh, too soon?
I don't know.
I don't know.
think so.
I don't know when it's too soon anymore.
So I think that we had done this on an earlier episode, but Cabbage, who was your favorite, or what was your favorite moment
Oh God.
on the? Yeah, I know. I don't even remember most of them. So
Okay, so I can tell you my favorite moment. It's gonna suck for the people listening. Maybe not. The one we did with Sir Gillen and Warlord Gunn. Not
Oh.
not for anything that was said in particular. We actually did that podcast in your living room because again, every room of your house. We did that one on
that was
video.
prior to video, right?
Well, so we did it on video. We set up a Zoom meeting and did it, but we didn't record it because we
Right.
didn't have the setup for it at the time.
yeah,
And that's a loss to everyone because they were drinking. Like
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they were tossing back shots of whiskey as the interview's going, and Gunn turned this delightful shade of what I'm going to call, I don't know, you got Space Marines, there you go, Blood Angels Red.
yeah.
Like he was crimson by the end of
Yeah.
it, and he just like every sip he took, he would just change.
Sir
a little
Gunn
bit.
is slightly allergic to alcohol.
Yeah.
Like not so much that he can't drink it, but he definitely starts to get the skin reaction from it. So
Well, it's a thing. It's oh god, I have a bunch of Asian friends and I can never remember what this called. It is, but it's a thing. Like some Asian people have a really strong skin flush when they drink alcohol. It's not like like they can't drink alcohol. That
Oh,
that
yeah,
just happens.
It doesn't process as right or something. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But
how
yeah,
it
like
processed,
if you go back and listen to that episode, the really loud clinks that we couldn't edit out because we didn't know how to at that point is them setting the bottle down over and over again. They had a fifth of something.
Yeah, so like as far as like favorite moments, that was just hilarious to me, and also it was a really good interview. I mean, at the end of the day, that was a fun one that I had a great time with. But like watching Gunn just turn a different shade, and watching Gillen get just more and more sideways as it went on because he couldn't hold his head up, and he just by the end of it, him and Gunn were spooning. Like they're like, hey, yeah, no. So about Warlords and the new standard. Like they were falling apart, and it was funny as hell. I wish we could have gotten that recorded. They wouldn't have let us release it though, but it was still
True
fun.
story.
It was a really cool episode though. Teflon, what about you? Favorite moment?
I really like doing the outside of our game interviews, actually. Like the Darkon, the Jugger, and things like that. Those have been my favorite in some ways. Just getting new perspectives on things, and like a perspective that is on Amtgard in the aspect from the Darkon one that's from kind of an outside of Amtgard first and coming in, and then being kind of ingrained in the culture too. Like, I don't think Fikes had a whole lot of mic time necessarily during the thing, but being able to see on the CTL tournament recently-ish that she did really well in both board and the non-men's tournament was really cool.
Yeah, I think that she won one of them.
She won the non-men's tournament, I believe, and
Yeah.
like I said, I think she got third in the shield portion.
Well, she's on like her 8th warrior. Too.
Yeah, she's pretty high up there.
Yeah, so
we should have her
congrats
back
Fikes
just to
for
talk
that.
about that, or when she
Agreed.
becomes like the second female sword
Yeah,
knight.
hopefully, yeah.
That'd be a cool
hopefully
one, too.
soon.
Let's see. I have a lot.
Flo, a taste of your own medicine, perhaps.
Yeah, I know. I have a lot, and it's kind of hard to pick one.
Okay, can I just say what we're all thinking right now? We're all trying to dance around the Michael Hammer of God episodes because they are so fucking good that we can't just all pick that episode.
Yeah, he's just so funny, man.
I mean, he made it into our intro. You can't knife a motherfucker and keep it. Like,
yeah, right.
I'm gonna go with Michael Hammer of God as mine, but let me explain why.
Lame.
Yeah, I know, lame. The way that he tells stories, I love. He is very practiced on his timing. He's been doing this for a very long time, and a lot of what Amtgard is, especially old Amtgard, was telling war stories around the campfire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a storyteller, I really appreciate the work that he's put into the craft over the time. I don't even have a specific moment in his interview. It's just you run into people that are just good talkers. They're well spoken and they're fun to listen to, and he is definitely that guy for me.
Yeah, not me.
Oh fuck. Good talkers.
You fall asleep. He's got one of those voices you can fall asleep to.
Yeah.
Good talkers like Sir Tato.
Oh man,
that was
really
a-
good episode,
Inside
too.
of you are two wolves. Every time. It's my go-to joke now whenever I have to fucking point out how dumb something is. I'm like, inside of you are two wolves.
Yeah, Tato was a fun episode.
Dame Linden.
Linden was a
really
lot of
fucking
fun.
good.
There was a lot from the Sword Belt months that I really liked, or all of the belt months,
yeah.
but the Sword Belt month in particular. I'd mentioned, I think, the first time we were talking about our favorite guest that Anatole was.
Anatole was really good.
His whole thing that he put together on psychology. He still has his podcast running, by the way, Stab Chats.
Stab Chats, yeah. Check him out on Patreon.
So you should go check him out. Good dude.
Well, so this is what I meant earlier when I said different perspectives, right? Like Anatole's perspective, because it was Sword Knight month, and he was a Sword Knight, so we had him on, and immediately starts talking about the books that he's reading.
Right.
Which is not at all the way I expected that to go. I was like, do you do any drills? And he's like, no, but there's this cool book about tennis. And I'm like, what the fuck? But I checked out that book. It's a really good fucking book.
Yeah.
And like that changed. I don't think it changed my perspective on fighting, because I've kind of accepted with my joints being what they are. I'm never going to be a warlord. I'm cool with it. But it did make me look at people who fight very differently and think oh, they're not just, meatheads, right? Like they are doing something very mental when they're doing this.
Yeah. Sir Randall was the same way when we had him on. And he really broke.
No, go ahead. But I have a specific thing I'd like to say about that episode, and it's not bad.
Oh, okay. For me, I really liked having Randall on because Randall's been in leadership in the game forever. I think that we mentioned on the show at the time, but our park was originally under his kingdom.
Dragonspine.
Yeah, Dragonspine, and we left when we joined the Central Eastern Alliance, which eventually became Winter's Edge. And just having that wealth of leadership knowledge, he used to do talks very regularly. I don't know if he still does them, but sorry, the phone started buzzing there.
That was mine. Yeah, that's one.
But having that wealth of knowledge and somebody that can just kind of talk to you about good ways to approach leadership, right? Like, it's almost borderline like silly motivational speaking stuff, but sometimes you have to hear that stuff, right? When having someone who has been through the trenches tell you things like, when you're approaching a conflict, never come in assuming that you know who the guilty party is, even if you know who the guilty party is.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, you have to approach it as if, could you explain to me what happened? Well, so-and-so's already explained it. Right, but I want to hear your side of what happened. Like you need to feel invested in figuring out, getting to the bottom, not blaming.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that he went over, and I thought that it was really good. There's a lot of other stuff that he's done like that too over the years. So yeah, that was one of my favorite.
Okay, so about the Sir Randall episode specifically, a couple of people remarked and told me that I looked bored during that episode because, like, the entire episode, I'm laid back, like, in my chair, just like.
Oh, you always look like that.
Okay, but I was not bored, and that was one of my favorite episodes. But the guy's just a storyteller.
Yeah.
Like, you could wind the guy up and tell us about that thing, and then he would go. So for me, it was like a free space episode where it's like, oh yeah, I've got this really cool story about blah. Do you want to hear it? And we're like, yep.
Yeah, there's been a couple of guests that were like that. Sir Roger was the same way.
Yep.
Sir Roger, you could ask him about something, and he had an anecdote for you.
So no, I was not bored during that episode. Just to be very clear, I was fully engaged the entire time. But also, I was just kind of like, oh, I get to sit back and let somebody tell me a story. Like, that's kind of nice. That's the whole point of an audiobook.
Yeah.
So I was taking it in, to be honest. And yeah, I wasn't super active on that episode because I didn't have to be.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what's next for the podcast?
Do we know what's next for the podcast?
Well, we've all talked about separately. I guess, wow, we could just make the decision live, couldn't we? Because we've all talked about. So to be clear, I don't think we're canceling the podcast. I mean, we might decide to do that right now. But we've all talked about doing less frequent episodes just because life got real busy for all of us. So going to like every 2 weeks or every month, that kind of thing.
We touched on this on the last episode.
Did we? Okay.
Too. Yeah. On maybe it wasn't the last one. Whatever the last Hammer Time was. Because the last one, I think, was a Hogman episode.
Yeah, it was.
But, the short version is this. Luke's and I work at the same place. We have both had some new responsibilities come in. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of traveling or doing conferences that will affect my days that we usually record, because we do have, we all have hobbies and lives outside of this. And so cutting back to every other week is what makes sense right now. This isn't saying that we're going to continue it every other week moving forward from now on, but at least for the rest of this year, to where we can get through the kind of crazy school season, because both Lucas and our job revolves around education, and some weeks we may be able to get one out on our regular schedule, and that would be great. And it might be every other week sometimes. So
yeah, just this once a week thing is becoming a bit of a grind, and it's not because be doing podcasts got hard all of a sudden. It's mostly because me and Jeff are trying to get fucking yacked.
You're not trying. You are compared to the beginning of the.
Oh, bro, you want to see that picture of my thigh again? Oh my god! Oh, I don't think I showed
not
this
on
to Jeff.
air.
That was a good pic. I'm gonna show Jeff.
Compared to the beginning of the pandemic, you guys are yacked now.
Yeah, well, I mean, but just all the different shit that we want to do, and it's like, we got to make space somewhere.
I lost 0.2 of a flow since then.
I'll go ahead and share.
Look at that!
Too.
Look at that!
Pretty good shot.
That's why you had that cramp.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'm actually kind of gathering the stuff to make the gear for two actual jugger teams, so that we can kind of do the truly jugger game whenever, basically. And I might set up a thing for a tournament in somewhere in the southeast, probably in Knoxville, because it's convenient sometime.
And you're lazy.
Yeah, I'm lazy. That's honestly part of it. And post it onto the Southeast Fighters Alliance page or whatever it's called. I don't remember. Serious Foam Fighters for Southeast. I don't remember. It's one of those Facebook groups basically like that, and be like, yo, bring your team. I've got gear for 2 teams, so we can at least just have one field. If you all bring your own gear, we can do more though. And see if we can set off a bit of a league like that in the Southeast, because it's mostly Colorado and that kind of area, as we learned in that episode, for whatever random reason.
Yeah, it'd be a cool game to see expand. Plus, a lot of Amsgarders can cross over.
Oh yeah, there's the really interesting thing with that one is a single touch. So fighting styles is slightly adapted differently, and it may be for the better, maybe for the worse in some way. Probably not for the worse, but it's definitely going to be different. So
yeah.
I want to run something by you guys, actually, since we're talking about the future of the podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of want to cancel the Patreon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Like,
Yeah.
I want to say this. I want to thank all of our Patreons that supported us. Like, literally, I joked around about us being rough on gear. We're really not. We really take super good care of gear. It's just that it's all expensive. Every single bit, like things that shouldn't be expensive are fucking expensive. You guys really did help kind of keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You kept us in SD cards, which is as good
It-
as money.
Is crazy expensive and shouldn't be.
But that's the thing is like this has never been about the money, and like when we started
No.
the Patreon, we thought we were going to do a lot of other content. We realized how much work that was going to be, and like
We
Okay.
just ran it out of time.
well,
really, in the
yeah.
week.
The other thing too is Patreon doesn't natively integrate with any other services. So if I wanted to release the episodes early on Patreon, we did that for a little bit, but it was like you would have to go and basically do everything a second time to normally releasing the episode. And if
Which
we want to release
sucks.
it a day early, then we have to have it processed a day earlier than normal and everything else. And so like we wanted to do D&D, and I don't have the spoons to DM as much as I thought I did. And I wanted to release early episodes, and I kind of
That was fun.
It was. I enjoyed it, but like y'all, I don't have the fucking.
Oh.
I would get home after doing that and just be like, nobody talk to me for 24 hours. I don't want to be in control of anything, you know.
And then we would message you and ask if you want to go play disc golf.
Yeah, like I'm just not the person that can do that. And so like I guess it feels kind of disingenuous to have a Patreon. Like if you guys want to donate money, it's fine, you know, that's cool. But I don't want to try to make it contingent on offering something special when I do not have the time nor the willpower to do that.
Yeah, agreed. And again, we're still going to thank anyone who supports the show.
Oh my God,
Oh,
yes.
absolutely, yeah.
You know, I still want to do our fundraiser that we usually start in October for St. Jude's that
Mhm.
runs through
Yeah, just donate straight to them.
the end of December.
Oh, that's
Even
what we
if-
can do with the money that's in the Patreon. We can kickstart that fundraiser.
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds great.
Probably $50-$60, something like that. We can just throw it right on.
And we had told you guys from the very beginning that, you know, if anything ever happened, that we would find something equitable to do with it. So yeah, we'll still have our once a year fundraiser that we do for St. Jude's around that time. But yeah, I think that ending it is a good call.
Yeah, it just feels kind of bad. Like, again, I haven't logged into it in a couple of months, and I just have had no time or inclination to do it. And I mean, to do anything on it, you have to have everything done super early so we can release it. And we're not in that point where we're like recording 10 episodes and then being able to schedule those. So it doesn't make sense to keep doing.
We did do that, and we fucked that up real bad too.
It went better than you'd think, but like it was. We thought that having 10 episodes in queue would make it easier to get content out on time, and what it really meant was that I had to sit down and edit 10 fucking episodes and then figure out how to schedule all of them. And I was like, oh my God, this sucks. Like, because I would have to do that and then go to work, or go to, do that and then go be with my kid, or do that and then like go, work out or whatever. So it was like, it was always a thing I had to do before I could do the thing I wanted to do, and that never was going to work out. So yeah, I think like I want to kill it. I just wanted to run it by you guys. I'm probably going to do that like sometime this week and just let everybody know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see.
We don't need your stinking charity.
The other future of the podcast stuff. Again, we're not going away or anything like that. I do still want to.
Jeff's getting hair implants.
They're coming from his ass.
Yeah.
I do still want to take the setup and go to an event and like live cast jugging or live cast Phoenix League or something. I think that'd be really fun.
Mhm.
We talked to Hogman about doing that too. So Hogman, definitely down for all of that. That sounds fun. And then coming up, spend some of the time that we're going to be taking off when we're not doing stuff, just relaxing. Like, this is kind of one of those things where I think people usually say building up our portfolio and stuff like that, but I just kind of want to chill for a little while.
Well, we did what we came to do, right? We wanted to get Amthgard out to a wider audience. We wanted to get Amthgard people out to a wider audience of Amthgard people.
Oh, it wasn't just Amthgard people that we reached too. That
True.
was kind of the weird thing. Is like Flo had a friend from back in the day who was like, I don't play, but I've listened to your podcast for a minute. And then I've had a friend who I just play video games online with. He said he listens, every now and then to it and stuff like that too. So it was like really interesting that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, so many new people have reached out to our Facebook page and been like, hey, this is really cool. Where do I get started? And I'm like, come try LARP.
Yeah.
Like people that we can, at least talk to.
CTL.
Yeah, and get into the game. So, but what we set out to do was just kind of like introduce Amthgard to everyone.
Yeah.
And we did that. We did the thing we want to do. I would like to. I don't know a good way of doing this, right? Like it's hard, but like we've shown that it's possible, and we've shown how easy it can be. If the three of us idiots can do this, then you have no excuse. No.
Yeah.
So like,
Just do it.
man. So like, I guess what I want to do is make it possible for other people to do Amp Guard podcasts, because like, look, as cool as we are three very straight white dudes, kind of just talking about our view of Amp Guard. And like, we did a Black History Month podcast. We didn't do one this year. I don't love that, but ultimately it felt kind of wrong for me to be the person leading the table saying like, tell us what it's like to be Black in Amp Guard. Like, not that the viewpoints aren't important, but like, what can I bring to that conversation?
Right.
Literally nothing. So like, I want to empower other people to make podcasts. Like, you know,
like this is one of the things that took us like several episodes to get into. People want to hear what you have to say. Like, I remember I changed the little script that we would send to people that were asking if they wanted to be on. It's like, hey, this is what we do. Here's an episode that we've done if you want to listen to it. Here's the types of things that we talk about. And I added in there, I said, this is just a chance to get to know you. People are interested in what you have to say. And that's true for all of you. People are interested in what you have to say. We have episodes that have well over 200 views. And again, we're three guys doing some silly stuff on here. So start your own. I want to listen to it. I listen to most of the other podcasts that are out there. Godric, I'll come back on anytime you like.
I listen to more podcasts than I watch TV at this point. Like,
same.
Now me too.
Same.
No chance. There's absolutely a chance I'll catch it and listen to it. But like, yeah, your viewpoint's important. And you know, we've done a lot. I mean, we had a sister podcast, which was for women interviewing women, and due to scheduling and life, that ultimately didn't work out. And I feel like that's a thing that's missing.
Mm-hmm.
Like those episodes, like you could watch our demographic change in Spotify from like 90% male to like 75% male, 25% female, or like whatever, and then the sliver for like didn't identify, and like that's really cool. That means there is a market for that if you're willing to put the time into it. And the same, we've talked to a lot of people who are like non-binary or whatever else, and it's super cool, but that's not really a topic that we can get into in a way that's meaningful. And so like, hey, if you've got that viewpoint and you think you want to talk about it, like get in touch with us. I'll tell you how to do it. I mean, it's not hard. You got an hour and a half on a Sunday to set up a fucking Anchor channel. Let's go.
Yeah. You don't need any special equipment. We've covered that before too. Pretty much every single influencer that you see is just using their iPhone with no headphones or anything like that. So when I say you need none, I mean literally if you have a cell phone, you have everything that you need to start your
preferably
your
an iPhone because it's the superior phone.
A lapel mic is kind of helpful.
It is.
Okay, so here's the thing too. Like, if you really want to put out a quality product, if you're willing to spend $100, you can get a lot of quality.
Oh yeah.
The amount we've spent has not been because we're chasing a quality bar. Although I do think like podcasting is one of those mediums where you could pour an infinite amount of effort and money into it and get an infinitely better product every time.
Agreed.
But I also think that the barrier is so low that you could pour $100 into it and get a damn good product anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're, I mean, like Flo said, if you want to make a podcast and you're interested in getting your viewpoint out there, reach out to us. We'll tell you how to do it. We can tell you how to do it for free. It is genuinely, like Flo said, you can do it with your phone and get something pretty manageable. But if you really want something good, you don't have to spend, I don't know, the thousands of dollars we have. You can spend $100 and get 99% of what we've done. Where the money will help you is it'll save you time. This recording interface is cool because it's going to filter out all of this background noise,
which you guys can't hear right now, but it's there. Trust me.
Yeah, Flo has a window unit air conditioner that's just going ham right now.
Yeah, we can hear it through the headphones and everything.
Yeah, but you in product, you probably won't be able to hear it. Or if you can, it'll be very faint. So like, and again, like all of our voices are pre-mixed, so I don't have to apply any bass editing or anything like that to make us sound correct. That's what you get for spending more money, but like that's a down the road decision you can make later. You can make a podcast right now and then decide if it's something you want to commit to.
Yeah, like as Jay said, just do it. Like just release it.
Yeah,
you're never going to be happy with that first episode.
Nope.
You just need to get it out and then you can start going. Like that's the advice that like every YouTuber type person talks about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, we're also very self-critical. We're like, oh, it's going to suck. Our friends are going to hate it, whatever. And like universally when we released it, like some of our friends were like, I mean, it was cool, good podcast. Is that all you're going to do? But it was never like a, hey, your podcast sucked, don't do it again, right? It was like, hey, here's how you can do it better. Like, people are generally pretty supportive. So just do the damn thing. Like, it would be cool for WAK to become a podcast network, but I am never going to put the time into that. But I will absolutely tell you how to make a podcast. And then if you make a super cool network, we'll join it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I never go back and listen to any of our
No,
recordings.
not a chance.
I hate listening to my voice.
I
I
do.
hate my voice as well.
I listen to them specifically, like if we're going to talk about something from that episode, or if I think it might be relevant. Like I generally listen to most of them, and I, in 100 episodes, have never gotten used to the sound of my own voice, ever. Is that it?
Well, it's getting to that time
Yeah.
where we ask the guests for fun, funny story. Think, Flo, have you got a story for everybody?
God damn it!
I do have a story for everyone. I actually didn't until you said anything, and I still don't right now. This is all to buy time for me to figure out not
Flo,
a story.
If you need to buy some time, I think that Lucas over here probably can get us a little bit of time.
Not even
so
a
that's
story to
typically what
tell.
he does.
Not even a story to tell, because I have lots of those. It's a story that I can tell on this podcast and not get one of my friends banned.
Well, okay, hold on. Hold on, real quick. We're gonna mute. I can turn myself up. Okay, turn it back down. Turn it back down. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna go mute real quick because I gotta ask something real quick.
We gotta huddle.
Hey, is Sorry for our audio only listeners on YouTube. That'll probably be something funny. I don't know that any. I mean, we told all our stories, right?
I mean, we probably have told a lot of our stories, to be honest.
Shit, I can't think of anything that's new.
Nope, I can't either.
Did I tell you guys the one about Geralder and the giant penguin?
I don't think you did, not at least off the top of my head.
I swear I think I did. I'll tell it because it's a short story and it's goofy. So at the most recent Winter's Edge event that I attended, which was in May.
The Avatar-themed one.
Yeah, so I was an Earth Kingdom merchant, and as a quest NPC, one of my jobs was to hide a giant stuffed penguin that other questers had to find. And there was a flagpole just at this campsite. So I took the penguin, tied it up, hoisted it up the flagpole. I want to be very clear. I did it by its feet because I did not want to give off the vibe that I was hanging or lynching this penguin. I did think about that. So I hoist the penguin all the way up the flagpole, like 20 feet up in the air, and I turn around and Geralder's just standing there. And I'm like, hey, Geralder, and he snaps a salute, and he holds it for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, hey, you good? And he just goes, honk, whoosh, and then walks away. And I could not breathe for 30 seconds.
I caught the tail end of it. Like, I didn't realize he had held the salute for that long or anything. I heard I saw the hand go down and the honk, and I was like, that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
I do have a story that I can tell. Not as long as my normal stories, but we were. What is the site that the symposiums happen at? Indian Creek.
Meadowbrook. Or are you talking about the older ones?
Yeah, the one in Georgia.
Yeah, it's. I think that's right.
Indian Creek.
I think
Yeah.
that's
So
right.
we were at one of the symposium that we hold, and I think that this one was also an Olympiad. I think that happened. And
one of them was. I don't know if it's the right one for the story.
So Aldrich, one of our longtime players, had picked up some tents for us to use so that classes could be done outside and kept the sun and the rain off of you and everything like that. Super cool that he did. He picked up a couple of them. But it is super windy at this site. You wouldn't think that it was because it's so woodsy down there, but the wind was crazy. So we are inside. I'm currently... Dame Fiddles was actually getting knighted at this event, and I was sitting working on the chain that I was going to give her. And we're talking about how well the event's gone up to this point, and the fact that the tents have held up really, really well, and it's super cool. And one of the dudes that's sitting at the table, and I don't remember who it was, says, what tents are you guys talking about? The ones out there that are blowing away? And we're like, yeah, man, whatever. And we look outside, and this tent is 15 feet in the air.
It was fucking large.
There is no part of it that's on the ground. And the people that were outside at the time, I know that you've changed your name now, Testicles. but I don't know what your new name is, so I'm going to call you
Sir Bophades.
Yeah. So I'm going to call you Testicles. Sorry if I'm not supposed to do that anymore. But Testicles and a couple of other people that were out there have like jumped and grabbed this Brett. Brett was there, Sir Brett. Had pulled this tent down, and I ran out the door, and we're all trying to get it disassembled because this thing is together so tight that we can't stop it from starting to blow away again. We're like pulling pieces off and trying there was probably 9 people holding this tent down to try and stop it from lifting off.
Oh, was that the
again.
expensive rented tent too?
No, that one.
Okay.
They didn't set it up on the correct time frame because they're like, no, it'll just blow away. So they waited till the next day or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it all together.
I got you.
So that one was a fun story for anyone that was there. For everyone else, I'm sure that you can identify with crazy times as that happened. If you run into any of the Seraphim, ask them about the Ragnarok that they went to where their entire tent blew away. They had like a whole row of pop-up tents that they had gotten that all just blew away in the wind. I think that was the last time Kazan said he'd ever buy a pop-up. So
yeah.
At the absolute very first Winter's Edge coronation, Alexis and I had a tent and I think an air mattress. I don't remember for sure. But like it had rained during the night and we were just sleeping and everything, woke up and there's a fucking huge puddle in the middle of the tent basically. And when we get out and like there's people's tents that are basically washed away slightly. Like it wasn't as bad as like what was it, the Clan or something like that it monsooned and like flooded and everything.
Oh no, that was one of the Rising Winds events.
Oh, okay.
Where a full-on flood.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And it wasn't near that bad, but like this guy doesn't play anymore, but this guy Zach, he literally was in like 3 inches of water in his tent and like just totally drowned. So like that stuff's pretty funny and terrible at the same time, but like it definitely happens to a lot more people than you'd think, I believe.
If anyone stuck around this long in the episode, if you've had crazy things happen to you while you were camping at one of the Boffer games, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we tell you about the time I almost got killed camping in a tent at Bonnaroo?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think on air. I've heard it though.
Yeah. So I mean, another tent story, I guess. Except we got to kill the episode. It's getting too intense. We should just be done. So I'm at Bonnaroo and it's like night 3, like it's the last night there, and I have to get up early in the morning and I didn't want to see the closing act, so I'm in my tent going to sleep, and it's one of those Bonnaroos where it's piss pouring rain, as is tradition it seems, and whatever, I don't care, I'm in a tent, and I just wake up in the middle of the night because suddenly my tent is like falling down on me. I'm like, oh shit, like it's raining hard, like literally the tent is collapsed on one side and I'm having to push it off, so I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta get out of here, like this is going to suffocate me. So I crawl out of my tent, and what I realize has happened is not 6 inches away from my head, a man decided he was going to leave, and it's Bonnaroo, so the assumption here is that man was not sober, and he had just gotten in his SUV and drove away. And for people who don't know, Bonnaroo is a tent camping event. There are hundreds of thousands of people all crammed in, and there's this tiny row for cars. And so often you're blocked in until people start leaving. That's why I was staying that night, is so I could just get my car out easy the next day. This dude just decided to drive through the campground, and he drove over the corner of my tent, again, not 6 inches away from my head while I was sleeping.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
So like the pole is like cracked and just smacked into the ground, and like there's like, my tent is sitting like lopsided because that piece is broken, and I realize this because he's still driving, like there's tire tracks and leading to him because he's spinning out in the mud. So like that was my story of almost getting killed in a fucking tent.
That was my story of going and kicking a dude's ass that drove over my tent at Bonnaroo.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to talk about what happened afterwards, but like, bro, yeah, I almost died. And that dude didn't need to drive anyway, so whoever pulled him out of his car and beat the shit out of him, they probably saved his life, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
At least saved him from a mean DUI. So if you
been
got to get your ass kicked. Yeah, I mean, could have been anybody. Anyway, I think that, shit, we're at an hour and 10 minutes. We want to call it?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Hey, we'll see you guys whenever. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on YouTube or Spotify to get notified about new episodes. And make sure to follow us on Facebook for announcements and more.